All right. I am Sam.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're talking about everyone's favorite pop rock group, Ghost, formerly known as Ghost BC for like 3 years.
Yeah, for a while. At least in our lifetimes. Yep.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, Opus Eponymous came out in 2010, so 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and since then they have sort of risen to become one of the largest metal or metal adjacent, depending on how you want to classify them, acts in the world. Kind of astounding, honestly.
Very astounding.
All right, we're not gonna talk about what we're listening to or new music or news until after for all that lovely SEO Halloween optimization.
Of course.
So without further ado, let's fucking chat about Ghost.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite Swedish metal darlings.
Yeah, right.
We're just gonna start. We're gonna do probably a history first. Give you a sense of who this band is if you're not really too familiar, and then we'll go into their music and all that stuff, and then we'll talk about
about the albums, talk about the lawsuit, the drama, the implications for the broader metal community, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ghost were formed somewhat in the mid to late 2010 or 2000s by one Tobias Forge. That name is going to get brought up a lot. He wrote a few riffs and then brought a few of his friends on board who were basically like, oh, you know what? This is pretty cool. We could turn this into like a full sound.
Right.
Forge was fairly well-versed in the Swedish music scene. He'd been doing stuff in it for years. He had plenty of connections from his time in bands, from his time doing promotion, whatnot. So he just called up some boys and they started putting together some tunes.
Right.
I think they released they recorded a few demo songs in like 2008, right?
Yeah, they had like their first demo had Prime Mover, Death Knell, and Ritual on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure they released it to MySpace in like late 2009, early 2010, and immediately were picked up by a label, funnily enough.
Right.
Yeah. They got picked up by Rise Above and then recorded their first record, which was released in 2010.
Opus Eponymous.
So I think, assuming no one here has heard of Ghost, which is just untrue, but
right.
Ghost for a long time, we'll get to this, but for a long time were an entirely anonymous band.
Yeah, no, Papa Emeritus, obviously the veiled guise of Tobias Forge, charged these nameless schools who were the backing band and played this really interesting kind of almost like, I don't know, a couple of bands have done stuff like that before. But
yeah, I mean, like if you want to use a broad moniker, I think occult rock is good.
Yeah.
The first record specifically, I think you could call like proto doom metal,
sure,
in the vein of like early King Diamond or Merciful Fate or Pentagram or even like mid-period Sabbath. Like it's definitely, I'd say, at least connected to that or attuned to that sound.
Oh yeah.
After that, I'd say occult rock / pop rock.
Yeah, I think if Infestosumum is certainly an occult rocky record. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in there. But once you get to
Meliora and Prequel are very much pop metal, pop rock records, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
It's very accessible rock with a few embellishments, funny lyrics, and heavier guitar tone.
Right.
And I'm sure we'll come back to this over and over again, but the reason a band like Ghost, in addition to like their music being pretty good, was able to ascend so rapidly and become what they are today is definitely because the image, because the gimmick. All their songs are satanic, sort of quiche about horror themed stuff, and mostly about Lucifer, Satanism, all that fun stuff. But the masked thing as well, having very good art design and merch consistently, and creating like a veil of mystique in the first leg of their career.
Very heavily produced band, for sure.
Yeah, totally. It makes a lot of sense that Forge and the rest of the dudes were in the scene for a long time, and that at least it's I think it's been made pretty clear that despite his questionable actions, he definitely has a keen business sense. He knew how to market the band,
right,
and like how to present them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first album, which, I mean, when this album came out in 2010, it was pretty much immediately beloved by most of, like, the deeper metal underground. I'd say to a point where, like, Blood Incantation is today, where, like, they were very popular almost immediately. But a lot of people were also like, oh, fuck this shit, this isn't metal. An older veteran metalhead who I've known for a decent amount of time he despises Ghost, and quite a few people on, like, more I guess middle-aged, like, metal forums like Reddit or Shreddit or /metal really hate Ghost.
I mean, it's understandable why. This isn't music that is... I mean, at least for the first album, like, I can understand where you're not coming from. Where it's not really metal. It is certainly just, like, pop-driven rock with, like, distorted guitars.
Like Scooby-Doo chase music.
Yeah, seriously, Scooby-Doo chase music.
That's what people always meme about. And, I mean, it's definitely true to some extent. But at least their first... Like, I mean... It'll be made pretty clear what our opinions on the discography are, but I think we'd both agree the first album is easily their peak for a lot of good reasons.
There's so many memorable tracks here. They're doing so many things that you really... I haven't heard in metal or rock before. It's really kind of bathing this fantastical world with the sound itself. And, you know, the songs are, so kitschy and so, like, playful that a song like Ritual, which is literally about sacrificing people to Satan, can come off so lighthearted and kind of, like, just fun overall.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, this thing was written with, like, a razor-fine pop sensibility. Yeah. Like, there are hooks on hooks on hooks on riffs on riffs. The guitar, like, over the past, few days, I've been learning all the Ghost songs on guitar. The riffs are super sticky. The key parts are super memorable. The vocals are super memorable. And the whole thing just works. Like, nothing is particularly complicated. Nothing stands out. It all just kind of meshes. Like, if you just focus on, like, the drumming on this record, for example, it's not flashy. It's not particularly, like, a standout thing, but it holds the whole thing together. And I'd say that's definitely, like, something to note for, like, Ghost's music as a whole. And, like, this record... I was reading some old, like, metal journalism from 10 years ago or so, and, like, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, these are just, like, amazing pop songs at the core.
They are. I mean, each one has a verse, chorus, verse, bridge, verse or chorus structure, and it's great every single time because the riffs are good, the hooks are great, and Forgay's a very talented vocalist. And even the lyrics are really engaging and super fun to sing along to. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think particularly with their first record, like, these lyrics are like, genius because they're bouncing between, like, a lot of, like, fairly obscure references to deep satanic things that you wouldn't necessarily be aware of unless you were well read on that subject.
Right.
But they're able to approach them and dance around them in a very accessible way that also leaves some depth to sort of explore.
No, yeah. I agree.
And as the albums go on, I'd say the lyrics get increasingly worse.
I would agree.
But I mean, here there's so many just, like, sick lines throughout, even if basically every song is about the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And, like, I'd honestly compare this record to Weezer's the Blue album in the sense that like this really just feels like a razor fine, like, piece of, like, rock that was, like, produced sometime in the mid 70s and then forgotten about and, like, unshelved. Because it sounds very much of that era, but it's crafted impeccably.
Yeah, no, every single, like, and the production is incredible. All the instruments are so even. It's like it's mixed to perfection. And, like, the writing is killer on every single track.
No, totally. And, like, one thing I really appreciate is that basically every song has, like, at least one diversion that like, doesn't make it 100%, a pop structure. Like, Ritual, which is the most popular song from this record, and arguably their best song, has, like, this weird bridge where it's, like, things get heavier, and then you get a distorted, "Our Father who art in hell," like, on top of it. And it's kind of dumb, but, like, it's a nice diversion, and a lot of the songs do things like this to sort of make it interesting.
I mean, you have, on, like, a track like Stand By Him, you have that, like, the skank beat interlude that comes from the track.
Yeah. No, totally, and they're all these like little nuggets that make the thing just like it's 34 minutes. It breezes by. The songs are all gas, and it flows wonderfully. Yep. Like all the riffs are memorable, all the parts are memorable. The hooks are there, the lyrics are there, the image is there, and I could totally see why this blew up like it did, and why it sort of catapulted them into a broader career.
I think seeing Ghost in a Swedish club just playing Opus, sick show.
Yeah, totally.
Sick show. I think it's the peak.
I agree. I mean,
they
they have that like sort of like level of mysticism. They would do like incense, and they were all like at this point like they weren't super theatrical, and so
they just go up.
Was still wearing like corpse paint and whatnot. And look, I guarantee, I sort of, it's never super fun when a band debuts with like their best album. And at least in Ghost's case, I think you can make a fairly strong argument that Meliora is about as good or even better. But I'd say, at least for me, as being more like metal inclined, that this is definitely their peak.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think every song on every record of theirs has at least like one. Besides this, has like one song where you're like, even Meliora, but this thing is just gas.
Yeah,
like,
not one song in this album isn't a bop. Like, yeah, you have the intro track, but like, whatever, you need an intro track.
Yeah, and it works well. Like seriously, and it's like I haven't listened to Ghost since I was like, extensively since I was in high school, and I was able to throw this on and know every note. So that definitely says something about their staying power and their ability to write sticky hooks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess to give some more context, after this record, it was received very, very positively. Very well. They were able to, they actually got a Grammys nomination, which is
the
Swedish Grammys. Yeah, and they were able to tour with like ridiculously big bands like Trivium, In Flames. They opened for Mastodon and Opeth on a co-headlining tour, which is nuts. Right? And so, clearly from the get-go, these guys, already had a gigantic following, and understandably so. After this point, at this point, just so the seeds for something we'll talk about later. Before Infestosum, about 2012, Forgay basically established his own trademark brand, Papistrello, and whatnot to control everything Ghost related. And Forgay and the 5 or so other members of Ghost that had been playing and had written songs on the album and collaborated pretty extensively, he gave them a verbal agreement like, hey, we're going to split everything equally, okay?
Yep.
Right? It was just sort of like, these guys have been friends for years and they've been bands for a long time, so they just sort of, understood like, okay, yeah, we're all going to split everything equally, cool. And then at this point, Forgay comes up to them and he says, okay, guys, Ghost, obviously we're doing well, but we're not yet financially viable. What's going to happen is I'll give you guys all stipends while I control the finances or whatever until we're financially viable in 2012.
Right.
And remember that now.
Yeah, that's an important detail in this case.
Yes. Their follow-up was recorded in several different locations. I think pretty notably they had some trouble finding a choir to record some of the tunes here in America because they were explicitly satanic.
Yeah, no. And their next... I mean, we're ready to jump right into the next record.
Yeah, no, we can talk about Infestosum.
Infestosum. Their second record came out in 2013 on Lorna Vista this time. They got switched over there. And this album's really interesting as the band has taken a much more... occult rock approach. There is certainly heavier
there's a lot of psychedelic stuff
here and psychedelia. And it really makes for some interesting tunes, but also some of the band's more memorable.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the first Ghost record we got back in like 2014.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And I remember, ripping it to my computer and listening to it like 50 times because, it was the first experience of this, like, with this like cool quiche, but like also really like cool imagery and like satanic band. And, as a kid who wasn't super into like extreme metal at that point, it felt like something daring and it was executed super well.
Right.
In retrospect, I think Infestosum one of their is probably one of their weaker records. Things just not very consistent.
No, it's not. But I don't know. You can still give the band credit for doing some pretty unique stuff on this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather them make a somewhat risky follow up to a critically lauded debut than do the exact same thing like a band like Interpol has done.
Right.
You know, and I mean there are still some hits here, like notably Goulet, Year Zero, and Monstrance Clock are just eternal bangers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean. Goulet's like their longest song. It's one of their few songs to like an actual climax, 2 parts. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You got like the 6 surf rock bridge. Awesome. Monstrance Clock is one of their best songs. Has the very iconic satanic chant throughout.
Yeah.
Just really well constructed. 6 solo. Nice like choir chorus. And same thing with Monstrance Clock.
I mean, yeah. Year Zero is just such a cool track. I think that's what you were referring to when you said Monstrance Clock.
Oh gosh.
But
yeah, sorry, I meant to say Year Zero.
But no, both those tracks, Year Zero and Monstrance Clock, are obviously incredibly memorable. Both kind of operating in opposite facets. One being extremely bold, and this one, and Monstrance Clock being, nice and soothing us into it before it goes hard, and then has that really nice, memorable conclusion to the record.
Oh, totally. And like, I mean, like this record does flow well, and the songs are relatively good. Like, for the most part, good. Yeah. I just don't think like it's like most of them are very strong. Like, Paris Barrett Infamy is a cool intro, but it doesn't have really any like the nuance or like the riff change ups.
Yeah.
That made some of the tunes on Opus so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
And yeah, I mean, this album is distinctly less fun.
I definitely agree.
Which certainly takes away from it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just like a quick overview. I think Secular Haze is a fine track, but after like once you've heard it, 50 times, that
right
gets a little grating. It's.
And yeah, I mean, a track like Body and Blood is fine, or Idolatry, but or even Gigolo, like those are the same songs. Just
oh, totally, yeah. No,
pasted.
and I mean, like once more, the compositions here aren't quite as like structured or like layered as the first record.
Yeah.
Like if you look at a song like let's say Death Knell, right? Death Knell is like a multi-part intro. It has this cool multi-part verse, a chorus, a weird bridge, and then a solo section, a chorus, and an outro, right? If you look at a song like, Gigolo Harmagito, it's just like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. The lyrics here are also like where things start to get kind of dumb. Like, seriously.
I would say so. But, I mean, at least it's still on theme,
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, this record has a lot of memorable, like, dumb moments, too. Like, in Depth of Satan's Eyes, which, like, that song sucks. It's one of the worst Ghost songs. But, like, where he says, his eyes like a vortex. That's cool. I like that. And all the songs have, like, nuggets of that. I wish the thing as a whole is a little bit more consistent. And it's kind of funny because there's a pretty big break here in, like, the critical reception, in that people that weren't, like, deep metal heads were like, oh, this is actually great. And people that were like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it still has like some eternal bangers that are, absolutely stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And I think this was a good step for them too. Like off this record, they were able to like play Coachella, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's really strange to hear.
Yeah, seriously. Like they toured with, they toured with Iron Maiden and Slayer and Deftones and Avenged Sevenfold and Alice in Chains, and became friends with Dave Grohl,
right?
Who produced their next EP. We're not really going to talk about the EPs here because they're not particularly memorable or good. No. But like that's
incredible. That's so many big connections.
Seriously, like that. Now that we're a little bit more knowledgeable about like how Metal Underground actually works, that's like a level of popularity already there that very few people ever achieve.
Yeah. Seriously.
And I don't think they were quite like mainstream yet, but I'd say fairly well known if you were a metal fan.
I would say so. Yeah, definitely not. Because, I mean, I don't even know if... I think Meliora came out before we got Infestosumum. I could be wrong on that.
No, I think you're right. I think we got Infestosumum out 2015.
Yeah, we saw Meliora and we're like, well, hold on. They have another album. Let's get that. Let's get that album. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean... We had heard about them by the time Meliora had come around.
Yeah,
and we were still babies.
I think basically like halfway. I think with Meliora and then the coverage after that is when they really like
skyrocketed,
blew up. But I mean, these records were still ridiculously popular, and you don't make connections like that without having some considerable industry pull.
For sure.
And I mean, we'll talk about this more once we're done with the history. But I mean, this is really a combination of factors. It's no one thing that allowed them to do this.
Right.
I don't know. If you have Ghost Dropped, there's one song anyone knows from that, and it's the title track.
Yep.
The rest of the covers aren't particularly good, but
No.
I mean, title track's fine. And they toured on this record for a few years, as you would if you were doing something like this.
No, yeah. As you do.
Also, I guess we could talk about the fact that they change frontman every
A
album.
new frontman was on the last album, and there would be another new frontman on Meliora.
Yeah, this once again sort of ties into like the ghost mythos, where everyone sort of recognizes that it's like wrestling, right?
Right.
Everyone knows it's fake, but it's fun. It's cool and it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
And so the first record was Papa Emeritus. The second one was Papa Emeritus II. The third one was Papa Emeritus III, who was the younger brother of 3 months to Papa Emeritus II. Very important stuff.
Yeah.
And also, all the ghouls, kind of like Slipknot, would change their costumes throughout the tour cycles. And I think their most iconic look was sort of settled upon with Meliora's release.
Yeah.
Meliora was this is the record that really like broke them and out of just being relatively popular metal artists to being in a league of their own.
I mean,
I think
Grammy winning band on this record, which is...
Wait, did they win a Grammy or a Grammys?
Grammy, dude. Cerise won a Grammy.
Oh, jeez, that's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Cerise is an amazing song, but still, that's weird.
No, isn't it? They are... Yeah, I don't know. And, like, even, like, someone like... We kind of give Periphery a little too much credit when we have them in the Grammys category, because, like, they are very, very popular, but not on the level that Ghost is.
No, definitely different worlds.
And
this is the point where, like, I remember, scrolling through YouTube and you get Ghost videos recommended, or like people being like, Christians react to Ghost,
right?
Or like people or start seeing like memes of ghosts or whatever. This record was recorded. Excuse me, like this record was recorded in Sweden. It was produced by a fairly notable producer, and like they really went all in on this. It's the record itself. I mean, look, Meliora is a fantastic record. It's quite good, I'd say.
You want to know what Cerise beat at the 2016 Grammys?
Oh gosh, yeah,
this is horrific, dude. August Burns Red, Identity.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb of God, 512. Seven Dusts, Thank You. And Slipknot's Custer.
Yeah, okay, I'd probably give the Grammy to Cerise.
I would give
too.
the Grammy to Cerise.
I mean, look, it's kind of a meme. Ghosts are kind of a meme for reasons we'll get to, but the music has always been relatively good.
Yes.
Like, and there's, they're like songs on like Meliora, for example, or like on Opus, or the few songs you mentioned from Asylum are like ascendantly good. Like,
yeah,
entering into like the broader like metal canon. And this record Meliora is definitely that. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a remarkably consistent listen front to back. Basically, you have 8 tracks with 2 instrumental interludes, ranging the gamut from like relatively heavy chugs to acoustic ballads, and they handle the whole thing very well.
Yeah, no, I mean they kind of made. I don't want to say it's a timeless record, but I don't know. This album sounds fucking great. The hooks are still there. I remember actually every lyric of this album, like without question.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
It's all so. Just it's ingrained into our brains, and it just does that because it's so engaging and it's so hooky and so well done.
No, seriously. I mean, all these. I don't think there's like necessarily like a bad tune here.
Right.
I don't know if maybe like I don't know. Majesty isn't as engaging as the rest, but
Sure.
I'd say everything else is pretty top tier, and it's there. Like they're sort of returning to the more occult rocky sound of Opus, except with much more straightforward like pop structures. And pop production. Like there's a lot like
yeah, dude. The amount of symphonics on this thing is kind of
yeah. Look, this record sounds great. Don't be wrong, but there's a noticeable like mainstream sort of like DR here, or right. Like if you listen to I don't know, the latest Worm record, the guitars and the sort of the EQs are all going to sound a little different than this. This very much sounds like a mainstream record, and that's fine because at this point that's what they were shooting for, and they definitely achieved it. But yeah, all these songs just have peaks. Like Spirit is an awesome opener. Pinnacle is a really good like heavier follow-up, has all these nice layered sections, and it's actually the only song in the record that isn't a straightforward verse chorus verse bridge chorus structure. Cerise is probably one of their best songs. Amazing intro. It's like very iconic verse and chorus, sick solo section, sick bridge. He is honestly a fairly nice ballad, one of the more popular songs. But very nice. Mummy Dust is a hard rocker, and for a long time I didn't like that song, but I don't know, I think kind of slaps. Like the choral. It does kind of work.
No, it does work.
Majesty treads similar ground with like a more straightforward chorus. Absolution is like a straight up reference to like late period King Diamond. That's not a bad thing, and it slaps. And then Deus in Absentia is a slower closer, but with still a lot of depth.
Yeah. No, I mean, this again, front to back, this thing is just jam packed. It's great.
Yeah, it's super solid. I mean, I can see at this point why Ghost isn't metal. I would not consider Meliora like a strictly metal record.
No,
it's probably in the vein of like new metal, where it is obviously influenced by that, but it is not.
Yeah, it's not metal.
It's definitely pop rock or pop metal, if you want to say that, with like occult rock elements.
Yeah.
And also, okay, I will say the lyrics from Meliora are like not great.
No, they're really dumb, and like I don't know, even like Cerise, like those lyrics are stupid.
Yeah,
like super memorable.
No, I mean, you can feel the thunder that's breaking in your heart. Like, I mean, what does that mean? Nothing, probably. And it's definitely not as layered as, like, I don't know, the chorus to, like, Ritual, where it's, like, there are all these, like, word salads onto each other. It's very straightforward. And same thing with, like, Mummy Dust. Like, what?
I was carried on a wolf's back.
Not corrupt humanity. No, or like the chorus. Like for the longest time, I thought it was he's saying emeritus, like Papa Emeritus, right? But no, it's my mummy dust. What? My mummy dust. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's just strange, but
yeah, same thing with Majesty, same thing with Absolution, same thing with Deus. I think, like honestly, I think Spirit and From the Pinnacle to the Pit have good lyrics because they're not like particularly like word salady or complicated, but they're very effective.
Yeah, the songs don't really need it because like Pinnacle to the Pit at least is like it's a pretty hard rock and banger. The music speaks for itself, and Spirit is just all about like the banging atmosphere, dude, because once it starts going, holy shit.
No, actually, I think I learned most Ghost songs in the past few days. I think Spirit's probably the hardest one.
That makes sense.
It's because of the sort of like the 6/8 all downstroke of the verse, and then the solo is pretty gnarly. The Pinnacle to the Pit solos is also fairly tough, but everything else in Ghost catalog is very doable.
Yeah, I believe it.
But Spirit's probably the hardest song, at least for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, Meliora is a wonderful record. Like, I think Loudwire named as their best record of the year, which is the only metric that matters. So.
Yeah. That was also on Lord of Vesta, came out in 2015.
Yeah, you're right.
And at this point, shit did blow up, but shit also started to change for Ghost. Yeah. Ghost became a different entity after this record.
Yeah, so Ghost released Pope Star a year later, which was a cover EP. Once again, like if you have Ghost with one original song, Square Hammer, which is probably one of their best songs,
Dude,
one of the more popular ones.
honestly, blew the fuck up. I think
Yeah,
I think Square Hammer really did it. Like that was the thing.
No, I think Square Hammer was the moment that propelled them from very popular to mainstream. I'd agree.
That song has 90 million plays.
Insane.
That's ridiculous.
And I mean, even just with a song like Square Hammer, which, spoiler alert, was the first Ghost song Forgay wrote entirely by himself. You can tell there's much more of a pop focus than anything else. So that comes out. They just start doing crazy well. They go on and whatnot, and then in early 2017, shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So basically, the five former nameless ghouls, who at this point, were unnamed, totally anonymous, come out and they say, "Hey, look, we're suing Tobias Forgay, revealing his identity to the world for basically fucking all of us over in several ways." And I think this is where the ghost narrative gets a little complicated, because let's give the facts. So basically, we mentioned that they entered into a verbal agreement that everyone would be compensated equally.
Yep.
Right? And then Forgay said, "Hey, until this becomes profitable, I'll give you guys monthly stipends," right? So when they approached Forgay about this during the Meliora tour, and they're like, "Hey, dude, like, we're not getting anything. Clearly, we're doing fairly well, right?" Forgay sort of ignored that and then lawyered up,
right,
and then fired them all. He got this ridiculous deal where basically, I guess good for him, but he got this crazy deal where he owned the Ghost name, he owned the Ghost everything, and since none of the band members had anything in writing, including writing credits, he was able to assert that he did everything. It was a solo band, and that they were hired guns. Fired the entirety of the band and never paid them for their 8 years of contributions.
Yeah. Real bad. Not like
horrific stuff. And so I actually remember the day this news was broken, funnily enough, but I don't know, I remember like being a fan of the band, seeing it, was like, oh, this cool like quiche like satanic thing that made great pop songs, and then just hearing that like, oh, the Papa Emeritus screwed the entire band out of everything. What?
Very much a wake-up call, I guess, as a fan, where you kind of have I don't know, it puts everything into perspective for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's rough, and I mean it feels bad too, because like, this stuff has happened so many times over history. Like I'm writing a book report for a class right now on the Smiths biography, and something very similar happened with Marr and Morrissey and screwing over Rourke and Joyce. But yeah, I don't know. This is just unfortunate, because we actually, to be fair, we don't know how much the original five, and there are a few more because their lineup changes through the first three albums, but we don't know how much they contributed to the first three albums.
No,
but we know
it's all unknown.
It's all unknown, and we know Forgay's claim that he did absolutely everything himself, which almost definitely isn't true. Some of the other ghouls have echoed that, while some of the others have said, no, it was fairly collaborative. At the very least, there's clearly, this is clearly a shitty thing to do, and the band certainly sounds different when it's just Forgay. Much more ABBA influence than anything else.
Absolutely.
So this lawsuit happens. They sue Forgay for not paying anything. Forgay wins the initial round because they don't have any hard evidence. They don't have anything in writing, and he was able to lawyer up and get everything put together in case this exact thing happened.
Right.
Since then, they have appealed it once, and the appeal didn't go to court, and they settled out of court. If I had to guess, I'd say Forgay probably paid for their legal fees and then gave them like a sum.
Yeah, which won't be enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels bad.
Yeah, it really does feel bad.
Well, of course, while this is all happening, Ghosts have become, like one of the larger bands in the world at this point.
Yeah. Very.
And
I mean, yeah, they just actually blew up. They started to go on world tours. They opened for Metallica.
yeah, I mean they headlined their own tour at this point in like giant music halls, like 3,000 people music halls, and we're starting to sell out all these venues. And
Right.
and at this point, the narrative's kind of been firmly established that Ghost is definitely Forgay's solo project, which is interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that at the end. But yeah, Ghost blow up. They start doing a ton of shit, and they start getting ready. Or at this
They
point,
gear
we
up
should
for
really
the
just
next
call it
record.
his band.
Yeah.
But start getting ready for the next record, which was released in like
2018.
May of 2018. It's called Prequel.
Oh.
I'd say, yeah. Look,
this
the
album.
Prequel isn't like a horrific record. It's definitely their worst record, though.
It's a pop album. It's a pop album.
Yeah, I mean,
With metal instrumentation, which
that's not
pop metal.
necessarily a bad thing.
no, I don't.
But
But that's it. That's what it is. I mean, like you listen to a song like "Rats," "Dance Macabre." Those songs are it's ABBA. You're right. It is like
it is
pop
no, it is
rock
just
music.
like ABBA.
It's yeah. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not versed in Swedish pop.
I
but-
mean, look, I will say that there's some real high. Like, I think "Rats," despite it being incredibly poppy, is an awesome song.
No, it's a great song.
I think
And
"Fate's" also an awesome song.
Faith is great, and that song's pretty heavy considerably for the record.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, and the rest of the record is competently executed, but Jesus Christ. I was listening to this today while driving, and I was like, oh my God. Is this really... Like, I remember when this record came out, at this point, we were fairly deep in the extreme metal, and we're listening to, like, Tech Death and, like, Noise and all that stuff, so this just sounded like candy, and we were like, wow, is this really it?
Yeah.
And what blew my mind is Fantano gave this record, like, a strong 8,
Yeah.
which is
That's
just...
no.
That's very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah.
Basically, everyone else is like, yeah, this record kind of sucks, especially in the metal community. But have no fear, because it produced like
Incredible
once again
yields.
incredible amounts of success. Like Ghost had always been like keen on merchandising. This record let them go off. They started getting, Cardinal Copia, who was the new replacement for Papa Emeritus, like merch, like bobbleheads, Funko Pops. Every type of, clothing apparel item you could think of. Dildos, butt plugs,
all
alcohol,
of it.
all the like Kiss level merchandising.
Yeah.
They start booking shows at like the Wang Theater. That was their Boston date on the Prequel tour, which is like a 4,000 seat room. They start playing arena shows. Like this skyrockets them to the main. Like
Right.
if they were already in the
line.
mainstream, this record establishes them as like, oh, they're
There they
one
are.
of the most popular metal bands, metal with air quotes, in the world.
No doubt about it.
And it's kind of funny because, like I said, this record sucks ass. Like it's
not
not
great.
it's not horrible. I'd say like even a song like "Dance Macabre," which like I hate on like premise, is very competently done.
No, it's
like
all,
the lyrics
it's well
here.
made.
Yeah, look, I mean, all the songs are well made. Lyrics here easily the worst on their discography. Like the production's actually fairly good, but the songwriting is just kind of basic. There are really no left hooks or anything.
No.
And there are some I don't know, some immensely cringy moments. Also, there are like 2 instrumental songs on here that are like
strange.
full songs, which
Strange.
isn't a bad thing. Like I think a nice instrumental here and there, like Genesis from the first record's great.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of interesting when the record itself is like barely 40 minutes.
Well, also strange when you're not like, I don't know, because Ghost is Tobias Forge at this point. It's strange when the man who doesn't play a single instrument live is making instrumental stuff in the studio.
Yeah, no, totally. It's kind of I don't know. This record really feels like an extended EP, in that like Forge knew like he had to release another record for a number of reasons, and so he just shit it out.
Yeah.
And like that being said, this record's somewhat beloved like in the community. Like I was browsing r/Ghost BC on Reddit earlier today just to get an idea for how fans felt about things, and like I don't know, people seem to really like this record. It has a higher score in RYM than Infestosumum, and almost as high a score as the other two.
It's nuts.
So like people like this. It clearly it's not like it did the thing.
No,
That being said, like even See the Light, Dance Macabre, From Moria, Witch Image, and Life Eternal, I'd say are worse than basically every song on Meliora, Opus, and most of the songs on Impus Nasum.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'd say so. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel half-assed. It's obviously a lot of work and put together very well, but I don't. It doesn't click the niche.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It doesn't hit it.
I agree.
I agree.
That being, after that, about a year later, they released another EP. It was a 7-inch called
God.
7 Inches of Satanic Panic.
I hate this fucking record. I know it's only 2 songs.
I think these 2 songs have honestly kind of grown on me because, like, at least when I'm listening to Prequel, you get like the juxtaposition of a track, like Faith with a song like Dance Macabre, right? You're like, okay, this record is just like unabashed, like retro cheese, and I think I appreciate that.
I mean, understandable. I don't know.
They also released a live album, which I've never listened to. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, I'm sure the live album's good.
Yeah, actually, it's for the set we saw.
Is it?
Ghost Live for, yeah.
Which is again a really strange point in their career because, it's just strange that we saw them in a theater, but like Astronoid, who is a literal no one band, opened. And that was the only opener, and I've always thought that is one of the strangest shows I've ever seen because the worlds don't click for me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is honestly so funny. I think about that lineup is very funny.
No, I don't know. They couldn't get a Connecticut band to play live open. I don't know. It's weird.
Literally.
But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, here we stand at a point where like Ghost's most recent tour that they're doing in the winter is an arena tour with Volbeat, and they're playing like 10,000 seat shows, which is ridiculous.
Insane.
I mean, look, I guess ultimately, like, I'm okay with Ghost, a band with, like, let's be real, fairly good musical output.
Yeah.
Like some truly amazing things there. I'm fine with them becoming like, a more popular metal band. Their output is definitely better than the majority of other bands at their level, especially at this time.
Yeah.
But
Sam, what do you think about Hunter's Moon?
Song sucks. I don't know. I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I really wish, like, we didn't know that the entire like first 8 years of the band were just kind of, Tobias Forgate dicking over his like close friends from like high school.
Yeah, no, it's not a fun thing to keep in your brain.
No, sir. And like, it seems like he just got away with it. Like,
no, there's no consequence. None.
Like, no consequence. Like, my man probably had to pay for like legal fees, then give them a flat sum. But like, hell, he's raking it in.
Yeah.
He gets to basically have sole writing credits and copyright ownership of like one of the larger metal bands in the world. Like,
no, seriously, that an incredible amount of popularity. I mean, it's not even like, I don't know, like the guys in Volbeat, I have to assume have a 4-way partnership or something close to it.
Something close to that, right? Like, you don't just, especially when you're like,
and they've been working at it. Those guys have been at it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, in 10 years, Tobias Forgay was able to go from like relative obscurity to helming one of the largest bands on earth, which is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels bad to think about because it definitely goes against like the way we're sort of taught to like look at rock music or metal, where it's like this 4-way brotherhood, or whatever, between however many people, and we're coming together to create great art. And in this case, it just feels like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This dude fucked over everyone else involved, and I don't know.
No, it never feels good.
Why do you think Ghost are so popular?
I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I think we're at a point in at least a Western society where the satanic image is just kind of mainstay now. Like, I know 12-year-olds that, wear Ghostmane sweatshirts and have Little Peep posters. And that's not directly satanic, but it certainly takes a lot from it, particularly in trap metal and those adjacent subgenres, whatever. Especially with, like, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, social media. It all pushes that. And we've kind of flipped where, I don't know, like, a band like Ghost is just a band like, I don't know, any other, like, kind of Christian metal band. Like, take, like, I don't know, like, something that it's able to really fill the, like, I don't know, take a band like Sleeping with Sirens, okay? It's just perfectly able to scratch that edgy niche that, like, young, angsty people are looking at. But it's also decent, and I guess I'll talk more for Ghost here. It's decent music that, can be enjoyed by a larger audience, a rock-oriented audience that already exists. And when you're going on a bill with someone like Iron Maiden, they're definitely going to like the same type of music. It's kind of by association. And they just have such an accessible sound. Like, I can show Ghost to anyone.
I agree. Like, I could show my mom, my 6-year-old mom Ghost, and she'd be like, "Oh, this is, like, pretty good."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, at least as far like the controversy thing, totally right. Like, I mean, Ghost, like, right place, right time, right, where, Satanism and a lot of that, the more edgy, like, brands of, like, historical counterculture are, like, at this weird point where they still have a teeny bit of it, the edge, but for the most part, no one gives two shits, and you can commodify it.
Oh, right.
The rise of the alt scene, the mainstream, all that, definitely coincide with that. And also, like, retro rock, too. Like,
sure.
They did something relatively new, or at least relatively well, at a time that was, like, sort of looking for that. The image, all the merchandising, super clever. And then, to his credit, Tobias Forge is a fairly clever businessman.
I mean, managing to produce everything as well as he was able to get it produced and market it as well as he was able to get it marketed. I mean, getting signed in your first record is a feat already. But then having that record just blow up, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, if you could, the Ghost about a series of managers, but I mean, Forge's done a lot of, like, the business thing himself. He's done a lot of, like, he's had a fairly hands-on approach when it comes to, like, a lot of the merchandising and, like, the agreements and the signatures and whatnot.
Right.
And, that's one of the reasons why he was able to so efficiently fuck over the rest of the band. Yeah. But it's also one of the things that probably didn't hurt when they were sort of riding this wave.
No. Probably not.
Yeah, and I mean, look, behind all that, the music is also really good. Especially
pretty fucking good.
On, like, Opus and Meliora. Like, those albums are fairly untouchable.
Yeah.
It was just this, I don't know. It's this very, very much, like, there are quite a few reasons as to why this happened, but those are a few of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, especially if you're, like, younger, this is Ghost are one of the best gateway bands imaginable.
Oh, not even a question. I don't know if there is a better band that you can at this point really introduce someone from, like, I guess, classic 60s 70s rock music into metal. Like,
or hard.
It's kind
not only is it super listenable, not only is it super well done, but it gives you the feeling of, like, listening to something that is, like, kind of, out there, or, like, kind of scary, right?
Well, that's spooky. Like, the music is intentionally creepy, or, like, kooky, spooky, Scooby-Doo spooky, and to its credit, at least in those early albums. Now it's just
it's just pop rock.
It just sounds great, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many Ghost shirts I see around my college campus.
Oh my god.
Like,
I see them on my little campus.
Yeah, and, like, it's nuts. And we, when you're a metal elitist and you listen to the down and dirty, like, underground shit, generally, if I see, like, a Metallica, Megadeth, Maiden, Priest shirt, I'll never be like, hey, nice shirt, because
right.
that doesn't necessarily signal anything. I feel like Ghost are at that point with me now.
No, yeah, I can't acknowledge it, because, like, I don't know, man. Like, they're touring with Volbeat, man. That's a dad rock band. That's a fucking
like, Volbeat
butt
are
rock
horrible,
band.
but,
like,
I mean, I guess we got, like, their live show also is like fairly entertaining.
Oh yeah, I mean I think that's a big part of their aesthetic. I mean, how long did they play? 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Yeah,
like that's incredible. And they had like theatrics. They had fucking like they did mini baby skits on stage. Like it was a fun fucking time.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I found a full. I watched like skimmed through a full concert like from right before the pandemic, and like it seems like Fourier can do literally whatever the fuck he wants, and
no,
so
he's
he
just
just has
showman.
no one to stop him, and so he'll just he'll be very like say all these perverted things, have a bunch of costume changes, spend like 20 minutes on if you have ghosts and call out the entire band, and like that's all annoying, but it's also I don't know, it's also theatrics and it's also fun.
Yeah. It's
so
fun.
I think that's definitely important. Like, I mean, we've seen Ghost once in 2018.
I don't know. If
no, 2017.
No, it was
Jesus.
it was before Prequel for sure.
Yeah, we saw Ghost once in 2017, and I mean, it was an amazing show. Like,
yeah,
their tunes were there, the theatrics were there, lights were awesome, costumes were awesome. Plenty of good crowd interaction. Wasn't too much, and sounded great. So,
yeah.
Also, they have great, like, seriously, I feel like cannot overstate how good their merch and, like, overall aesthetic is.
Oh, it's great. It's one of the best in popular metal and rock, without a doubt.
No, totally.
I will wear a Ghost shirt. I have no shame because they're cool.
They look sick. Yeah. And I know like several people with the Nameless Ghoul mask or like with a pop-up mask or whatever. Like, it's very iconic. If you go on Reddit and you see like the people that are really big fans of this stuff, they'll cosplay, they'll draw it and whatnot. And you look, as much as I love a band like Puron, right? You don't see people like doing Puron fan
goat
art.
Mockery ritual drawing, dude. There it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dressing up as like a abscess time.
Yeah.
And their album art too is also all very iconic.
Oh, I mean, it's great. The first ones are. I love the hand drawn. Especially the Scooby Doo. Like, come on, Opus Eponymous is literally a Scooby Doo album. Like, it's gotta be.
I mean, Meliora and like Prequel also look amazing too.
No, they have beautiful covers.
Yeah. Huh. I guess, I don't know. My main qualm with Ghost would be that, I don't know. I think I think they're definitely a good example of how like the music industry will basically fuck you no matter what if you're an artist.
Yeah, you need to be very careful and tread lightly in the industry because someone's always looking to take your money.
Seriously, and sometimes that's
make money off of you.
The front man in the band.
Yeah, it's a really difficult balance.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Hey, this is a tip for all more than one person bands. You should have a written agreement at some point in your life about what the responsibilities are.
Right down. Yeah, seriously.
That's important.
Well, it's also funny too because none of the Ghost albums have writing credits until Prequel. So like, I don't know. It really is like the perfect storm of just fucking over.
It is a perfect
all
storm.
The Nameless Ghouls.
Because if they weren't anonymous, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, totally. Well, not only that, but like also the way that like Fourier so adeptly maneuvered himself, like creating like two separate copyright brands and like funneling everything through both of those, which he owned, and like I don't know. Yeah. I just, like I said, I'm relatively okay with Ghost being where they are now. Their music's great. I'd honestly like to see them on the arena tour. I don't want to spend that money for a ticket, but I don't know. Maybe if something happens, I'll see them. But like, I don't know. I whenever I think about them, I can't help but think of the legal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. I think listening to those first couple of records, I don't know, the art's there.
Yeah, totally.
And like it is a little less so. I feel that way with Prequel, but like even on something like Meliora, like the musicianship and the songwriting is all there. And I know it's not all Fourier because the songs are so much different than they were.
I think like the most charitable reading you could give him is that it was always his solo project, and he didn't communicate that properly, which is. Clearly, I don't know. That's clearly not the case.
That sounds like a crock.
Yeah, seriously, and it's I don't know. It's funny that so many of the people that are so invested in the band just kind of agree with that. Like,
no, right? And
if you-
and they are so popular, and you kind of have to acknowledge that to really understand who Ghost is. Unless you're only listening to Prequel, and then you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a reason why Ovis Eponymous has so much like, early Doom references, right?
No,
Like,
no.
I don't know. I think that about covers it. Maybe their next record will be better.
Who knows? Perhaps it could be.
Either way, it'll be sure to make Tobias Forge far too much money.
Oh yes, sir. Okay. Ghost.
Yeah, well, that was the Ghost. I feel like it's fairly concise.
Not bad. What shall we do? What were we listening to?
Yeah, and
Others.
all right, let's get it out of the way first.
Sure. Give it to me.
The two actual new Deer Hunter songs from the soundtrack EP suck ass.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I understand why Casey would release the soundtrack EP, but it just feels like I'm getting slapped with a cock in the face.
It really doesn't feel great. They're not not good tracks.
Did you watch the movie?
I haven't watched
movie?
the full thing yet. I don't know. I support what Casey wants to do with his artistry.
Yeah,
I
I feel like he would make a fairly good soundtrack artist. Like, I think the soundtrack pieces here are all good. I wish he was a little more upfront about what this was, because we're in pretty deep, and I had no idea that this is literally just a soundtrack album with 2 new songs.
Right. I mean, take something like The Fox and the Hunt. That is so well composed and put together, and I know Casey had a big part in that. And I don't know, kind of going off that, he could make a great goddamn sound.
Yeah, totally.
Maker, but yeah, no, I don't know. The Indigo Child is just not. It's not what we want as fans. We're craving. We're craving music.
Apparently, the first album, which is gonna be an hour of concept album, is coming out in the spring.
Good, great.
And I mean, I'll listen to that then. But yeah,
right.
the EP is very disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what LP isn't disappointing?
Which one?
JPEG Mafia's LP.
You know what? I agree.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, this thing is
agree.
solid.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, Peggy's biggest issue is that he's always just he's when he's in an album format, he loses steam really quickly. If you listen to Veteran, if you listen to All My Heroes Are Cornballs, the A-sides are dynamite, and then as the record goes on, you just kind of get bored because it sucks. Yeah. I don't know. The B-sides aren't great, and on this record, I think the whole thing's remarkably consistent, littered with highlights, a lot of cool production techniques.
He's
really
just
good record.
Peggy is a really concise songwriter, and the bangers are just bangers, dude. Seriously, you're right. The A side on this is so great. So many memorable tracks, so many things I want to come back to, and even the B side, it's all well produced. It's all well made.
I agree. I think this record is more consistent than Veteran.
Yeah.
And how does one man go so hard with the producer tags?
Seriously.
Damn, Peggy. You think you know me?
Yeah, no, it's fucking funny. I'm glad Peggy understands the memery of his entire career. And
seriously. I'm excited to see him at a sold-out Royale show next week.
That's insane. That will be fun as frick.
By the way, did you know 100 Gex played this week?
Yes, I did. Yeah, they're the original shows.
I saw someone post on their social media that, and I was like, dude, you don't listen to any music, and you're at 100 Gex.
Well, hey, not too far along. Only a month or two for us.
Seriously. Honestly, November's stacked. In the first week alone, there's so many good shows.
Yeah.
But I don't know. New Peggy's sick. Yeah. As expected. I think I mentioned this on the most recent cast, which is obviously out at the time we're recording this.
Yes.
But new 1914, sickeningly good. New Worm, sickeningly good.
Dude, that Worm record's great. So is the 1914.
Yeah, I mean 1914 is to me just a slightly cleaner version of Blind Leading the Blind.
Yeah, it's a poppier Blind.
Yeah, I mean, look, record's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the step forward that I think a lot of people feel does. That being said, it's like a 9. But
it's still pretty great.
But yeah, this Worm's also sick. Like really good.
Mm-hmm. You know Paranormal?
Yeah.
And you know Sonos Tomam Conta, the Brazilian black metal, black gaze, chica, really depressing Bandcamp. They made a 3-way collaborative album with Asian Glow.
Oh my god, this is real?
Yeah, and guess what? It's great.
That is... Wait, what?
It's a 10-song
what made like a Brazilian
record.
dude?
No, right? No.
Team up with Paranormal.
No, it doesn't.
And Asian Glow. That's so funny.
No, it's great.
I don't doubt it for 1 second.
Yeah, I've been listening to that a bunch.
Are there any other like notable metal records from last Friday?
Not
in Vajarda.
Not really. Also, that Vajarda album is like a 3.61 on RYM and I Want to Die. It's like one of the best albums of the year, and I'm like, this makes me want to uke.
Dude, people were just ready for the new Vajarda. Clearly.
We're recording this before it will be released, obviously. Should we talk about music that will be coming out when this is released? So music that will be out by the time. Like
well, yeah, I know Arcspire's this week.
Arcspire's this week. Mastodon's this week too.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. They're just trying to get us.
Seriously. There's a new Jerry Cantrell record, which is probably gonna be trash. Who knew KO Dot?
New,
as well.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, new Lucifer. Woo. Yeah, no, it seems like those seem to be the big ones. And Whitechapel.
Oh, nice. That'll be.
By the way, Whitechapel are playing like progressive death metal now. It's wild.
This is a new life.
No, dude, like no joke. I watched.
Are they on Metalum?
They're on Metal Blade. I don't think they are, but I like watched a video of like their new Dean Lamb learning.
They just are. They are already.
Guitar. Oh, they are.
They are already. They're just a deathcore band.
Oh.
I guess.
Well,
Metalum
it
likes
is
deathcore now.
It is wild. It's like
I will listen to it.
It's like deathcore tech death with Tool choruses. No joke.
Stop.
Yeah,
dude. Honestly, I'll be a Whitechapel fan. Don't even. Don't get me started.
No, seriously. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like I'm gonna finally have to listen to this Notrim record because all the different publications have covered it.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it either, but apparently it's great.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there towards the end of the year.
I have been collecting my thoughts, and that is a conversation we can have at another time because I have things. I do have not updates, but things to talk about regarding that. But stay tuned because guess what? By the end of the year, you will have a best of list on time. Crazy, but it'll be there.
Metal with the primal forces. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, we'll see.
Let me check the Metal Insider before we transition into news because I do want to see what's been selling. All right. Well, obviously, on 9/29, Spirit Box did well. This is the column for 10/20 that I'll send to you.
Yeah, right.
So this would have been last week. So this is looking back a few weeks ago. Trivium sold almost 10,000 copies in their first week, which is crazy.
Yep.
Good for them. Eclipse, who I've never heard of in my life.
9th studio record that you've never heard of. I've never heard of them either.
Literally. Knocked Loose, 600 sold. That's pretty good for a surprise EP.
Yeah.
You know, they did effectively zero promotion, and Knocked Loose are clearly big. I don't think there's anything else particularly here.
No. BT
oh,
Bam,
wow.
They're back.
Yeah, BT Bam re-entered with a shit ton sold. That's funny.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Good for them.
By the way, yeah, I don't think there's anything else too notable, but it is insane the amount of people that are like Greta Van Fleet fans in our generation.
Stop.
Like, it is nuts, dude.
I know. It's.
I was working on a school project for grad school, so it's like fairly involved and whatnot. And I'm with 3 other people, all girls who like aren't super deep into like music or whatever. And they start talking about Greta Van Fleet, and all of them are like, "Oh my god,
I love Greta
them so
Van
much!"
Fleet!
And I was like, "What the heck?" And on certain dating apps right now, there's quite a lot of people that put Greta Van Fleet as their
anthems,
which is also insane.
I believe it.
But you know what? To each their own.
We live another day.
I don't even like what even happened for news.
Dude, not much. Honestly, I haven't seen too much.
Roadburn 2022's sick.
Dude, all right. Well, yeah, we should talk about Roadburn 2022.
Yeah,
that's insanity.
Yeah, that is like unfair levels of sick.
So yeah, I'll all right. Let's go to the actual website. Yeah, so we got. No, well, that's in. I guess we could do it. Well, all right. I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order. Alcest, A Cal de Lune in full. Backwash, 2 sets. Europe debut. Big Brave. Divide and Dissolve. Full of Hell as an artist in residence playing 4 sets. Okay. Koldovstvo playing Ni Saria Ni Bogya in full. Their only performance ever. They've already said it.
Damn, Daniel.
Lamp of Murmur debut. Live debut. Liturgy, Hawk, and Origin in full.
Yeah.
Midwife. Primitive Man. Russian Circles. Souls to Fear new album in full, which granted, not the best, but still big. Ulver. Flowers of Poop in full. And Vile Creature split.
Yeah, no, they're doing a commission set, which is cool.
And that's not all of it. That can't be all of it. There's got to be more.
I think they're announcements from like earlier in the year too. Anywho, I don't know.
Either
that's
way,
pretty sick.
Insane. I wish.
Serge Tankin and the Ginger drummer just got COVID.
Yep.
Rip.
Ooh, someone else got COVID too. Fuck, I don't remember who. But yeah, no, people are getting COVID.
Ed Sheeran got COVID, so.
Yeah. There it is. Ed Sheeran.
And new Limp Bizkit album is probably going to surprise release this week, so get ready, Adam.
That's a prediction.
I'll
You made
have
it
you know,
first,
I am
folks.
wearing my Fred Durst outfit for Halloween.
Fuck yeah, dude.
What are you going as, Adam?
Halloween? I don't even know, dude.
You're telling me you're not about to roll with the LIMP, dude?
I don't know. I might have to do corpse paint.
Look, if my former partner, I tried as hard as I could to convince them to go with me as Euronymous and Dead, but what are you gonna do?
Unfortunate.
I think you'd make a good Varg.
Dude, thank you. Dude, I can't make Lords of Chaos jokes with anyone. It's awful.
What the heck? How are you gonna be like? How are you gonna just say those horrific quotes and have people like look at you and be a little puzzled?
No, right? And then laugh.
Gosh,
funny fucking movie.
Oh, I feel like I listened to way too much Ghost this week.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know what?
It's alright.
Actually, this is funny for all the listeners. The reason this happened is because I was DJing a Halloween family set at like an open door of outside event, and I was just using a playlist of like family friendly Halloween songs. And I was like, oh whatever, fuck it. And so I started playing like like The Killing Moon or Psycho Killer and that stuff. And I was like, you know what? And then I played Ritual by Ghost, and I was like, yo, this song slaps.
Yeah. It makes sense, and hey, it fits the goddamn theme perfectly. Again, Opus
walked up to
Eponymous
me,
is spooky music.
And he was like, dude, I can't believe you're playing Ghost here. I saw them on their first ever tour like 10 years ago in Arizona, and it was awesome. I was like,
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's fucking funny.
That's funny. I gotta come up with a Halloween themed playlist for my radio show.
The show?
All this stuff.
Me too.
All right, I don't know. This has been a happy, non-religiously charged holiday
Yeah, happy day. I guess listen to Ghost if you're feeling like not caring about the liberties
if you're
fan
cool
base.
with separating the art from the artist.
Yeah. That's about it though. So
All right.
I don't know.
It's been a PM Metal Guide. I'm Sam.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, never mind. I guess no. I was gonna mention that we're going to a show in a couple of weeks, but that won't be till the next podcast.
Yeah, what the heck, dude?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it, but we're going to a shows in a couple of weeks. There's show announcements for us, and you know what? We might even return next week with a Sorceress cast. Who knows?